Welcome to the podcast, Kill Complacency. Here we inspire intentional living by motivating others to handle hard better. And here's your host, Marty Hofmann.
Hey, this is the second part of the podcast with Cameron Burke. I loved hearing him talk about his future self and future goals and visions, and really how he can become anything. Because what was something you thought was cool or liked?
I really liked hearing how has just been realizing how important relationships are in his life, and how he just basically said you get to define who you are in life. What other people say about you does not define who you are, and I just really liked that.
Powerful story, guys. How graduation gift turned into a $50 million in transactions in 4 years. So hope you guys can learn a lot from Cameron, and hope this adds value to you. Thank you. Cameron, tell me about what Cameron looks like when he's 32 or 27, 10 years out, 5 years out. What do you envision yourself looking like, being? So what are your long-term goals?
Long-term goals. I want to spend Q1 in Hawaii is one of my biggest goals.
In 5 years?
In 5 years. I know that sounds silly, but for me, that is my ultimate goal, with my family, of course, with B&E. But I don't like Q1 in Oklahoma. I'm not a fan of it. You've got taxes. You've got
you've got taxes everywhere.
Yeah. But no, really, like it's kind of gross. It's kind of ugly. It's not very fun. There's not much to do.
Yeah.
And I truly believe people are a little bit more unreasonable. So I want my 5-year goal is Q1 outside of Oklahoma, in Hawaii, preferably. Okay. I love Hawaii. And then really I want to be doing what I'm doing today, just with more leverage. I want to be doing it at a bigger scale. We're very, very small.
So how many doors you got in 5 years from now?
Doors, I don't care as much about doors, actually. More so cash flow.
Okay, what's your cash flow?
So I'm going to be at $25K
okay.
a month, net, passive. So we've got a ways to go, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not even at 10. So,
yeah.
But hopefully it'll compound.
Yeah.
With some of the other stuff that we've got going on.
For sure.
And then 10-year goal, I'd like to be at 100K cash flow a month.
Okay.
That is like my ultimate goal in the next 10 years. Cash flow over anything, really, because that gives me more leverage on what I want to do. It'll allow me to travel and allow me to dial back a little bit and buy back more of my time.
Do you know who Robert Kiyosaki is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rich Dad Poor Dad, cash flow quadrants.
I was at a conference and he told this story. I think it was in Scottsdale. He had this property. It was a gym, and the tenants moved out, and they were like, "What are we going to do with this?" And they were really stumped. And finally they realized that maybe they should market it to healthcare providers. So that's what they did. Market it to somebody in healthcare. They built a building there, signed a 100-year lease, and they pay him $120,000 a month.
Wow.
But it's like, he bought this property probably in the 80s for nothing. He's making over like 1.5 mil a year.
That's crazy.
Cash flow on one property.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And it's a long-term lease. Like, he's getting up there, so it's going to turn into a trust, and someone's going to manage it. But
that is amazing.
But yeah, one property you could be there if you do it right.
If we would have bought it in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Those are good. Okay, so Hawaii.
Yep.
Cash flow. Anything else?
Yeah, and I'd like to dial back to like 40 hours a week.
40 hours
working.
A week.
Yeah, because we're like, once again, I'm forced, and I don't have to, but I do have a team that relies on me at this point.
Sure.
And I think that I'll be able to do that sooner than 5 years. But yeah, right now for sure, I'm working a little more than I'd like to, probably. And I don't mind it. The problem is when I go weeks on end, and that's why I have to take frequent vacations, because the only time that I can really unplug is when I'm out of town. Like, it's like, I don't see it. I'm not thinking about Oklahoma. I'm not thinking about real estate. If I take a day or two off here, I'm thinking about real estate. I'm responding to messages. I'm always working here. Yeah. And I think that's with any realtor or business owner. Now, when I actually go out of town, it takes me about 3 days. Like, we just went to the Keys about a month ago. Took me about 3 days until, like, I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm relaxed. You know, it's like I'm not thinking about real estate today, because that's usually all that's on my mind.
Yeah.
So those vacations are definitely needed for me, because I'll come here and I'll turn and burn as long as I can.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I got to get out of Oklahoma. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'd like to dial back to where I'm working 30, 40 hours a week, hopefully at that point, just supporting my team. I really like empowering people. That's been the coolest part about building a team over the last year.
Yeah.
Is like, and it's a very small team. You know, there's 5, 6 of us, but we meet on Fridays. Everybody's excited to meet on Fridays. You know, we always go over our wins. We always go over our losses. And it's been really cool to be able to empower people and, like, empower my team. Now I've got, you know, my team calls me when they need something.
Yeah.
And I like being that guy that can help resolve the issue, or fix issues. So,
how about, will you still be in Oklahoma in 5 years from now?
Yeah, I think we'll always live in Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma, just not Q1. That's like been my biggest thing. That's always been my biggest thing. And I like Q4. You know, like I like Christmas. I like Halloween. You know, and Q4 is awesome. But Q1 there's nothing good for me here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's a sour mindset.
That's fine.
It is. But
those are goals.
I've always been like that. And I've had a good quarter. Like, it's not like I have a bad quarter here. I have a better quarter in Hawaii, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else? Any other goals?
No. I'm just gonna keep plugging away. I like what I do for the most part. I like solving issues. I just want to dial back a little bit on how much I'm working, and then continue increasing the cash flow.
Sure.
Because ultimately, that's gonna get me where I want to be.
When I think you can do all of those things if you're intentional about them.
For sure.
And it's good that you're documenting and evaluating and checking that, where you're going and heading. I mentioned earlier I read a lot. There's a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X.
Oh, yeah.
By the same authors, Benjamin Hardy.
I've got that at home, actually. Somebody gifted that to me.
So it's a really good book, but the biggest thing that book does is, if you were going to 10X your business tomorrow, I guarantee, Cameron, there's things you would do different, right?
For sure.
There's people you would hire, there's people you'd fire, and there's relationships you would go after to say, you know what, we did 10 mil last year, we're going to do 100 mil this year. Like, your mind's probably already turning, like you're obviously going after different clients at that point, different realtor relationships. There's different things you do, but it's because you put pressure on yourself. And that's part of what these goals do. You know, you want to be in Hawaii. You're going to build systems to get there. You're going to do things to get there. And I believe you can. And I think you can probably do it quicker than 5 years.
Appreciate that.
But it's the 10X. It's the mindset of the 10X. That 10X is easier than 2X. You know, Grant Cardone's big on 10X. I really appreciate Grant, but Grant, I feel like he's just more like, has this like mantra, this motto, 10X, 10X, 10X. And I agree, go big, go hard or go home, go big, whatever. But that book talks about the systems and processes that one needs to actually do it. And it's a good one to read, but also I really believe if people apply themselves so much more, they can do more than they think.
For sure.
And have those goals and then go after them. But so often we're just complacent, happy in our 8 to 5, day in, day out, and happy in our chaos. You and I talked some earlier about chaos and how as entrepreneurs we thrive in it. But it's a love-hate too. We love it when we go to Hawaii and relax and unwind and, you know, all that too. So there's a place for it.
No, for sure. And I think it depends on your goals too.
Yes.
I meet people that
Sure.
they are, I've met clients that they are more content making below the median average salary, but I can tell they're truly happy. And I look at that and I'm like, who am I to say that they need to make $1 million
Sure.
or whatever that is? So that, and I was telling you that's with my team as well, or I was telling somebody else that actually, but we're all about like goals. Like, what are your goals? And my brother and I talk about this. Like, some people prefer the 9 to 5 because then at 5 or 9 to 3 or 8 to 3, whatever it is, because then at 3 you got nobody bothering you, you know. But then you got guys like us, like that
Most of the
never
world
be like that.
thrives in 9 to 5,
Yeah.
8 to 5. Yeah.
But then you get people that are trapped in that, you know, that want to be where we're at, you know, where we run our own businesses. And there's pros and cons to both sides, you know, like
There's no right and no wrong.
Exactly.
I get that. But I do love that you have goals because it makes you more intentional.
I appreciate that.
And I think that oftentimes we're not enough and we just end up drifting and never, well, I would also make an argument that as Americans, we almost have a responsibility. This is a land of opportunity.
Yeah.
To do more. And maybe you don't want the nice house, nice car, but maybe you can bless somebody else with those things because you're taking advantage of the system you were born into.
Exactly. No, 100%. And we truly do have more opportunities here than anybody else. You know, we've got virtual assistants out of the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I do pay more to our virtual assistants than what the average rate would be, just because, once again, I like empowering people.
Yeah.
And I want our virtual, you know, a lot of times the virtual assistants, they do the work that nobody else wants to. And I feel for them, you know. I was talking to one of my virtual assistants the other day, and he does a little bit of property management for us. He'd reach out to a tenant. Tenant got on the phone with him, just ripped him a new one. Because the guy works for me, he hadn't paid. And he thinks because he works for me, you know, he does work on the side, that he doesn't adhere to the same rules. And he ripped into my tenant, and he's like, man, I'm used to it. Americans kind of just treat us like that. And that's when I was like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, for some reason, and not to get like way off course, but because we live here and they're halfway across the world, that they don't mean as much, or we don't have to treat them the same, you know? So that's one of my big missions as well, is like, I don't want to get to the end of my life and look back and go, I did all this for me, you know, and I didn't actually stimulate the economy. You know, I truly believe, whether you like investors or not, there's a lot of people that don't like investors, that think that it's bad that we make money off of where people live. But every deal that we buy stimulates the economy, stimulates our title company, stimulates the lender, you know, and our virtual assistants and the people that work for us. And I want to get to the end of my life and look back and see that maybe I didn't make a huge difference in other areas, but I stimulated our economy, and I made a difference, and we ran a team, you know, and so that's kind of one of my big goals.
One time, Cameron, I was writing a business plan to a bank on why they should loan me a bunch of money.
Oh, yeah.
Because the banker had come to me and said, hey, we can do this deal by deal, or you write me a business plan, and then we'll get approved for X amount.
Like guidance line.
And then you just come to me, and I don't have to go to the board.
Nice.
And so I wrote down this business plan, and I did not know what I was doing, honestly. But I wrote about what you just talked about, and how every transaction I do, there's an appraiser, there's a guy that does the mix survey, what's that stand for?
Mortgage inspection.
Yeah, mortgage inspection. There's people in the courthouse. There's bankers. There's closing company. There's title insurance. There's lawyers. I mean, there's a whole slew of people that we don't even realize are touched every transaction.
Yep.
And realtors. I mentioned realtors, but so many people make money every time I buy a house, or you buy a house. And that was my argument too. I'm like, you guys should loan me all this money because I will stimulate the economy in this way, but I will also better our community by rehabbing all these houses. Sure. So, it went over good.
I bet it did.
The loan.
That's awesome.
But it's amazing how me being stepping up and wanting to invest, which yes is going to benefit me, but it benefits a lot of people. And if you can see that in communities that are ran down, when people are complacent, when people just live to live and don't pick up their trash and whatnot, it's hard on everybody. It's hard on the whole economy.
For sure. So. I've heard every real estate transaction touches 33 people on average.
33.
That's the statistic I've heard. So we did 105 last year, whatever that would come out to.
3,500.
Yeah. So, which that's a very small scale, but that was a pretty cool statistic, and I don't think people think about that often. You know, I see a lot. You know, especially there's the new settlements and people are polar. There's Oklahoma, I feel like is pretty solid, but you go to the east or west coast, people are very polar on how they feel about investors and whatnot, and I think that the economy thrives with investors, thrives with people willing to take the risk to buy deals, rehab them, and rent them out or sell them.
Much better than doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
One of our goals with our company is to impact lives, and I need to circle back to this. We were tracking it this year. Every time we impact a life, we were writing it on a whiteboard. And the goal was 1,000 lives impacted. But 31, was it 31 you said, or 33?
30, it's 30, I think it's 33.
33.
I'll pull it up later. I'll see.
So it would be interesting for me to map that out, every
Yeah.
transaction, and can I come up with 33?
For sure. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. Any pet peeves? What would the pet peeve of yours be?
For real estate?
Yeah, just in general.
Just pet peeves? Oh, I could have come with a list of pet peeves. No. I think that one of my pet peeves is rude people. I think that, even when I'm having a bad day, I try and be nice to everybody, I'm not a huge fan of people that are just inherently rude for no reason, usually because they're not very happy.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but ultimately, that's my biggest thing. We run into a lot of people. I deal with a lot of people, and the people that are rude for no reason are the ones that peeve me off, or however you want to say that.
Yeah.
That's one of my big pet peeves, though, for sure.
Fire those customers.
Yeah. No, I usually don't. I just deal with it. Luckily, we have a lot of great clients that come through, and there's just a few that are inherently rude.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I don't have a ton. Yeah, I guess I really don't have a ton of pet peeves. Rude people that's at the top of my.
Top.
Yeah, that is at the very top. Now, if you're being rude because you got a reason, or if I've done something, understandable. But it's the people that we run into where we've done nothing, and they're just rude for no reason. That's one of my big pet peeves, for sure.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
2 more questions for you.
Let's hear 'em.
What would be a favorite book?
So, favorite book, I'm all about lead flow. I'm all about generating leads. Is going to be a book that I read just within the last quarter, $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy.
You like that one?
Yeah.
That's like a annual read, maybe. Huh?
That is definitely an annual read.
So
I mean, that's
many nuggets
everything
in
you
there.
need to know about leads. And then $100 Million Offers, the one before that he wrote, was amazing too. But $100 Million Leads really changed the way that I think about getting leads, how leads work, which is all business is. You've got to understand how to get leads. You don't even really have to understand business. You can understand how to get leads.
You have to have deal flow.
Yeah, you have to have deal flow. So $100 Million Leads is at the top of the list for sure.
You just went to his conference?
Just went to his conference. Yeah, he had a little workshop that they put on Q1 January. That was amazing. Life-changing, probably.
That's good.
Yeah, it was Alex and then Layla and their entire scaling team that they brought in, and they did breakout sessions with their scaling team. Got to ask questions. It was really cool.
He's got a crazy story of
He does.
coming out of
I like his mindset.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's hard to be in a bad mood if I start my day with a Hormozy video, for sure. I try and do that a lot of days if I get the time in.
That's good.
But yeah, that book is amazing, for sure.
That's cool. Last question for you.
Sir.
Let's say you got a week to live. and you've got one message you want to convey to the world.
Okay.
What do you want the world to know that you know, but that you believe would be critical for them to know?
For business or for personal?
Just
let me think on this. Something that I've realized recently, and I'm just now starting to mature out, so I've got some time to go. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but relationships are truly all we have at the end of the day. You know, when I started making a little bit of money, I thought that I'd want a fast car or some big house, and we could have that, but thankfully I'm not very materialistic. And I'm starting to realize that I really don't care about any of that stuff. I do want a nice house, and I might have a nice car down the road, you know, but above all, you know, if I think like I have pretty morbid thoughts, I'd say, but I think it's good, you know, if I think, okay, what if this person died tomorrow? Would I trade everything that I own? Would I trade everything in the world? Would I trade my business 100% for anybody that I love? So why not just spend more time with them today? You know, we're all going after, and this is something I still struggle with, but I spend a lot of time working on business, and I'm trying to be more intentional with spending time working on relationships and just spending time with the people I love. And every time I think about it, you know, it's like if this person passed away tomorrow, would I trade everything to not have that happen? And I would. Yeah. So why not just spend more time today, you know, or this week or whatever that looks like. So
that's so good.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing, relationships. And then business side is I think that social media portrays this business that is not messy, you know, that is, you know, you're going to go from zero to making 100,000 and have no issues. And something that I'll relay to anybody else getting into business or trying to scale. We scaled from zero. You know, we've done 50 million sales over the last 4 years. Is the bigger you get, the bigger the problems you have, and the more problems you have. So, you know, pick your poison, but that's the trade-off. The opposite side of that is your baseline gets higher. You know, like what stresses me out today, or what stressed me out 2 years ago doesn't stress me out today. I don't even care.
Nice, huh?
I used to be super scared of getting sued. I don't know why, but I grew up, my mom was in prison, you know, and whatnot, but I was like super scared of getting sued. And I've had a ton of people threaten lawsuits, but I realized that if somebody sues me, I'm not doing bad business. I don't do bad business. So what is there to be worried about? I'll just let God handle it, you know? And that's what I tell people when they threaten me. I'll let God handle it.
That's
so
good.
Anyways, that's what I'd leave with.
Relationships and big business, big problems.
Big business, and I don't have big business, but like the bigger the business gets, I'm realizing the bigger the problems get. And it's just messy. Business is just messy. I think that you go and you watch these YouTube videos or you read these books and people make it seem like business is like very linear. It's not very linear. At least from my experience, it's not.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is the messier it is, usually is a good thing because you're forcing the growth.
You're growing.
So
that's what the hard allows us to do. It gets easier as we handle it more.
Exactly.
And everything's hard at some point.
Exactly. Yeah. And your baseline gets higher, you know, like what's hard today we wouldn't have been able to do a year ago, you know, or won't be hard next year.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool to see as well. And that's what I try and remind myself of, because there are days that I get to the end of the day and I'm like, this was horrible. But then I realize that next year, as long as I continue forcing this trajectory, it won't be as hard, you know? So
that's good.
Yeah. It's all about mindset.
Well, thank you, Cameron, for your time and
Marty.
Coming in today and sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yep. Thank you.
Sir.
Hey, just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there, spread the message, share. And if you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store in show notes as well. But it's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop, SHOP.com, mindsetshop.com. Check it out. Thank you guys so much, and have a great one.
Thank you for listening to Kill Complacency. Follow and share our podcast to change lives and inspire growth.